And now for the theme tune.
Forget about
The theme tune!
Welcome to the Mom 8 Queens podcast, where the rulers you either love or hate, and each week we'll be setting the world to rights. Then, from a randomly generated word, we'll be finding strange stories to tell each other, almost having a giggle and not needing alcohol to bring our special brand of madness directly to your ears. Full disclaimer, there will be not safe for work content and probably a strong view or two expressed. So settle in and enjoy the car crashing into a dumpster fire that is Sam and Laura.
All right,
mate.
We're becoming one. Oh, Chase, dude, really?
We are one.
Just
Join us.
Come on in. Can you not, don't fuck up my whole setup. He's literally waited until you've done the intro to be like, I think I'm just going to readjust my life and where I sit. Right, anyway. All right, mate.
How are you doing, mate? How's your week been?
I'm all right today. I didn't sleep at all last night. I got 0 seconds sleep, because yesterday was shit. But today I'm all right because I haven't had enough sleep to generate emotions, or through emotions anyway. So I'm just I don't really know what I am, but I'm functioning, so that's good. My week has been a bit weird, to be honest. It's funny because when I was thinking of what have I enjoyed this week, there's loads of stuff that I've enjoyed this week, and yet still my week was decidedly meh. Just very one step away from numb, most of it, just going on. And I think part of it was because medium man was with his dad the week before, so I had that full week of just being Sam, which was a delight. And then obviously he was back, and he was back earlier than it was planned, and the whole thing was weird, and I just think it properly threw me off. But I mean, I had some good days. Saturday was awesome. I was in a well good mood on Saturday. I was loving life. But yes, to answer your question, my week has been average on the good days, apart from Saturday, which was fucking banging, mate, because I don't know what was wrong with me on Saturday. Because when we first spoke, I hadn't even had caffeine yet. That was just me, mate.
You were in a very, very good mood.
Yeah. It didn't last into Sunday, unfortunately. Sunday I crashed and burned. How are you? How's your week been?
My week was okay. I don't think there was anything. Oh, I sent out all my alpha reader copies of Silverdeer. Yeah.
This here?
That's right there.
I had it.
That book right there. You've illuminated so beautifully for me.
Well, I mean, look at it. Fucking sex, mate. Fucking sex. Look at it. Fucking gorgeous.
So I managed to get those sent out, and then I did try to make. So what I was going to do was, as a little extra something for them, for all my alpha readers, I was going to do some bookmarks. So I bought some blank wooden bookmarks off Amazon. Ooh. I bought spray paint. I made stencils.
How did that go, mate?
Fucking shit. Spray painted the motherfuckers fine with the black paint. That's done. Easy piece, that bit. Yeah. Then we come to the stencil. And I tried spray painting it, and I dropped the can. I broke the lid off. So then I was like, right, I'm not going to be able to spray paint the stencil. I'm gonna have to get a brush or a sponge and sponge it on. I just think spray paint is too thin for what I was wanting to do, because even with masking tape to hold it down, to hold the stencil down, it was still all bleeding underneath.
First of all, absolutely, that is one of the things I fucking love about you, is that you are how about you go shove your exorbitant fees up your saggy arsehole? I can figure this out myself. And 9 times out of 10 you can. And on that 10th time where it doesn't quite go to plan, what you do, you learn your lesson, and either next time you find someone that isn't such a rip-off merchant, or you learnt your lesson and you try again a different way. Fucking love that about you, mate. Like, mad props, right? Secondly, you wrote a novel. You wrote an entire novel, and I understand asking people to beta, critique, alpha, any of those things is an ask, because, you know, but at the same time, the level of trust that you put in the people you asked, and I can only speak for me, obviously, but it did not feel like a job of work to me. I was like, yes, give it to me. So quite frankly, that in itself is a fucking gift. And then the fact that I get this sexy ass actual like book, that, like, so yes, like, please don't be like, oh, I didn't do enough. You wrote a novel and then you gave it to people for free. For free. No pounds or pence. And you sent it to them at your own cost.
Yeah.
So let's just
so
keep that there.
So other than that, my week was pretty good. And then Saturday, thanks to being online with you all day, I managed to start doing some writing again.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I now have, I don't want to make any promises. I now have all the outline done. I have the world building that I needed doing done. I have most of the questions that I would ask as a reader reading something, or not even as a casual reader, because I've spent a lot of time in fandom. A lot of the questions that I have asked myself when I'm writing is something that I would ask of a show that I was a fan of, or of a film that I was a fan of. And yeah, so I've got most of those questions solved. I'm sure more will come up, but now, because I'm still on a high, I'm like, can I finish this book in a week?
Yes, you can. Absolutely fucking
can I finish this book in a week? I mean just the story, not like, I don't mean
yeah you're not publishing it next week. I know what you mean, but yeah, of course you fucking can, mate. You are Laura fucking Kendrick, Esquire the First.
So not making any promises, but that's where I'm at. So what is one thing? I never know which to do first. Do you know what? We'll do negative first, and then we can end on a positive.
Okay.
What did you hate this week? What did you dislike? What made your piss boil?
Oh, mate. So my mental health obviously has been shit, particularly yesterday. But before that, I am getting really, really, really fucking angry with the way the murderers of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd are being treated in the press. Like, I read a quote, I can't remember who it was from, on Instagram, that said, it is safer in America to be a white man that has just murdered like a black person than it is to be an innocent black. Like, I found out that they didn't even check if that $20 bill was counterfeit, and they've no idea where it is now. It just doesn't exist anymore, right? And Simon and Schuster are fucking publishing one of the cops that on the no-knock warrant that killed Breonna and her boyfriend.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's not like, it's so far beyond. I don't have the words.
Yeah.
Because I am not shocked. I am not surprised, because we all knew this was a thing. It's not like this is the first time it has been proven to be the case.
Yeah.
But it is just, it's that thing of how, after all of the fucking like protests and marches and everything, not just obviously of last year, of fucking since fucking slavery began, but in particular, like, the movement at the minute is so strong and so public and so, like, ready to clap back, snap back any bullshit. How is this still a thing that is just accepted? I mean, you know, white woman here, so of course, like, I don't have to, like, it is a privilege for me to be able to just go to sleep at night and be like, this pissed me off today, now go sleep, and I'll just leave my house tomorrow and, you know, walk the streets fine, or as fine as a woman can, but still white woman, so the most protected of the women. It's just,
it's like, it's, I don't know if there's an articulate word to describe the emotion that it is, because it's not like a disappointment, but it is disappointment, but then it's also mixed with rage, and it's not like, it's not even, because like you said, it's not shock. It's not a shock. It's not shocking. It's not shocking anymore. It's like, you know,
expected.
Yeah, and that's
sickening.
Yeah, that the fact that police reform needs to happen.
Oh God, yeah.
Right across America.
So yeah, that's what's really got on my.
Yeah, I'm not.
Everything, mate. Yeah. Right, mate. What is something that you've disliked this week?
Dickheads. No.
Ah?
My own brain.
Your own brain.
I think is what I'm on.
Yeah.
At the minute. Like I said last time, it's like I think I said it last week, I don't know. I react a lot better to people being mean than I do people being nice.
Yeah.
So my internal panic, which I didn't realise until like Sunday night or Monday night, whichever one it was, and I was like, oh my God. Like, it took me ages to start writing again, because I was just like, what if I never write another book? What if I don't have any more stories left in me? What if it's never like, because it's never a panic of what if it's shit, because I don't care if it's shit. That's not the thing. When I say what if I've not got another story in me, I mean literally another story. Like, what if I can't write something else, as in literally sit down and put pen to paper? What if my imagination dries up? That's another one, and that is like,
well, especially
paralyzing fear.
Yeah, I mean, like, SILVERDEER has been with you for 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it is more than slightly understandable that you would have that, and I completely understand what you're saying about the people being nice to you thing, because, like, we've both been through it, mate. Like, our lives have been, we've lived more years in our years than anyone has the right to, as in, like, you know, I'm being funny, but like we've been through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So we are more predisposed and more wired than most to look for the negative and be prepared for it.
Yeah.
And when you are doing that constantly, when you have this constant vigilance and you are constantly on the lookout for threats and, you know, escape plans, and you've always got your bug out bag ready, and there's, you know, you've always got your fucking samurai sword on your back ready to go, you forget that sometimes people are good.
Yeah.
And it takes you by fucking surprise, because you don't, like, I said this to you, when someone that I don't know, and often someone that I do know, when they're being genuine or sincere to me, I either don't know what to say, or my brain's like, what's your angle?
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
So I get it.
Yeah. That, it was, and I watched, NLA, was it the NLA Live Patreon? Next Level Authors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because
we'll link them in the show notes. They're pretty awesome.
Patreon, and I asked a question, and my question was, how do you feel after you've finished a book? Because I genuinely thought like there was something wrong with me for not feeling like, yay, it's gone, it's done. But instead there was like a melancholy afterwards. And it's because it was done. And I was like, right, what's the next thing to move on to then?
It's set, innit? When you're doing it, it's creativity and passion, and anything can happen, and you can mold and shape, but as soon as it's published, it's set.
Yeah.
And it's done, and you let it go, and it's no longer yours.
Yeah.
Like, of course there's going to be a grieving period.
So the thing is, like, I've always said, like, I'm writing for me. Like, even in the front of the book, it says, to me, for me, from me.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Because
baller move.
I write for me. I'm not writing for anybody else. Like, if people find things in it that they need and, you know, fall in love with it the same way I did, that's amazing. That is an amazing thing to happen. So when you're writing it for yourself, it's yours, and you can those characters are so like loud in your head. Yeah. And then you like, and I've always said that like I said, like, I'm writing for myself, so the numbers don't matter. So I'm not one of those people that thought I was going to throw it out there and it was going to be like everybody's going to be buying it. That's not the sort of, it wasn't that, and I couldn't reconcile what the feeling was until I watched the Next Level Authors Patreon, and they were talking about how it is like a grief, like it's you have to sit with it for a bit. Yeah. And it was so like helpful and so useful, because I was just like, oh, so it is okay to feel sad about it for a minute.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So what is one thing you enjoyed this week?
Well, I've got
several things you enjoyed this week.
Yes, I've got a few things so I'll mention like the few little things first, and then I'll go on to the main thing. One of my friends sent me a meme, and I will put it on the screen when I edit this so that people can see it. I found out something that I didn't know that I needed in my life, but I have never been so happy, and that is this. When a squirrel falls or like lands awkwardly, it lands like a fucking Marvel superhero. So like one knee up and like this, and there's picture evidence of it, and I was like, you know, when you go, I'm not going to fact check this, I'm absolutely like, no one is hurt if this isn't real.
That's incredible.
So like, I believe it's real. The pictures look real to me, and that made me very happy. I also received fucking SILVERDEER in the post this week, and I squealed like a stuck pig. I was so fucking happy, and I did Instagram stories about it, and it was squealing, so that made me very happy. It's got a gorgeous little note inside, and so that made me very happy. Yeah, and the main thing that I've really enjoyed this week, speaking about Next Level Authors, is I have been reading the horror serial When Winter Comes by Mr. Daniel Wilcox, who is one half of the Next Level Authors duo. Because I am not a horror fan at all, right? I don't enjoy the context of suffering that horror is about. Yeah. But we've known Dan since November, which still is only like 6 months, which is insane to me. Like, I feel like I've known all your like my life. And I was just like, I really want to read some stuff of his. And I was like, all right, okay, I'm gonna like dip my toe in. And so I'd read the first episode, because there's 6 episodes, I'd read the first episode like a month or so ago, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, okay, I think I can handle this, because of course, in my brain, horror is horror.
Yeah.
Of course it isn't. Just as fantasy is not just fantasy. There's so many different subgenres and everything. And what Dan seems to be really interested in exploring is people and what they do when all of kind of the comforts of modernity and social expectation are ripped away from them, and they are in a life or death situation. And it is fascinating to read. And what he does so well is captures these different characters, and like when you read them like at their breaking point, particularly when it's just like people, so you know, like the monsters are there in the background but they're not an imminent threat, and it's the people buckling under the pressure, and how each different person reacts is so like fucking good and so realistic. Like it's properly gripping. And of course there are horror, like what I would call like horror parts in it, you know, death and all that kind of stuff that comes with the territory, but it never feels gratuitous or like gore porn or anything like that. Everything feels necessary to the story. And I properly had, so I did English literature at college, and I proper had an English lit like fucking nerdgasm, because throughout, like, because I'm like, I dissect stuff as I read it, so I'm looking at like themes and tropes and all that kind of stuff. And there's two things, I mean, his descriptions are fucking just beautiful, like gorgeous, which is a weird thing to say in a horror book, but like his prose is fucking it's divine. But the two things that proper maybe go like, ooh, are like, it's set in Alaska, right? And there is, so in Alaska, they get like 30 days of sun a year or something fucking stupid. And there's this fucking huge storm, and storms there can last for weeks, like not just a couple of hours like we get over here. And so there's like this massive fucking storm, and the way he writes it, it feels like the storm is a character.
Yeah.
The landscape, where they are, all of that is as much of a threat, if not more of a threat, than the monsters, because monsters can't be everywhere at all times, but the storm is.
Yeah.
And so it feels like the storm is malevolent, and it is like purposely, and like fucking genius. And also what he does really well is there is a theme of hunger throughout the book. So I don't want to give away any spoilers, but like the creatures like will consume people, not zombies, I would just like to say, which is very refreshing. And so, you know, he obviously talks about like their hunger, but it's not just that, like it's like this motif throughout the book. So it's like, you know, the kids are like, they've locked themselves away safe in this like basement, but they've got nothing to eat or drink, and they're hungry, and they're dreaming and hunger, and like it's the hunger for escape, and it's the hunger for survival, and it's like the hunger for revenge, and like all of this, and it's just woven so beautifully throughout the books. I mean, I've read the first 3, I'm reading 4 at the minute, and like I cannot recommend it enough. And it's been such a long time since I have purchased like a series, I think, that has like gripped me so much. I'm reviewing each episode as I read it, but when I get to the end, I want to do, I think I'll probably do a blog post on it, just like a full kind of review of it in like an in-depth kind of essay kind of way, because it's like so, there's so much in there.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good, mate. That's what I've really enjoyed this week. Tell me, Laura, what have you enjoyed this week?
I have enjoyed nothing. I thought this week was terrible, and I want to die in a fire. No, bye. Oh well, see you later. No, I'm kidding. I've decided to really lean in to the things that I love.
Yes,
more.
mate.
Like, so I've started doing a silly thing on Instagram of tropes, where I'll generate a random trope. I love tropes. I absolutely love them. I love reading about them. I love learning about them. I love recognizing them
You
and
don't have
stuff.
genre without tropes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm such a nerd for, like, especially when it comes to film, because I'm more of a I'd say I'm more of a moviegoer than a reader, just because, like, I don't know, I just really, really enjoy stuff. Anyway, so I love when I recognize something, even if it's like, even if I'm watching a thriller and I know what's going to happen and I already know what the twist is, and 9 times out of 10 I do already know what the twist is, and it's not because it's poorly written or it's poorly done, it's because I know every single trope in the genre.
Yeah.
And the ways it could go. And when I recognize that, I'm like, oh my god, I know who it is, I know who it's going to be. So I get really nerdy about tropes. So I've decided to kind of just lean into the things that,
yes, please,
like, I love about stuff. So yeah, so I've got that. I'm going to lean more into doing the stupid reels with the voiceovers and the lip syncs.
Oh, mate, I fucking love your reels.
So with the trope thing in mind, I saw the trailer for Love of Monsters.
Oh, okay.
I found out it was going to be on Netflix. Because sometimes I'll just scroll through the coming soon bit on Netflix just to see, and I'll end up watching trailers or clips and stuff. The story is, there's a comet coming to Earth, and Earth fired literally everything it had at this comet to destroy the comet. It destroyed the comet, but then all that radioactive shit rained back down onto Earth. Most people were fine, apart from, this is going to really anything cold-blooded, insects, reptiles,
fish,
stuff like that, all mutated, right?
No.
So they're the monsters.
No.
You don't see any fish stuff. There's no I don't think there's one single
in the trailer.
Oh, no, wait, there's a crab. There's a crab. So tell a lie, there's a crab. There's a cute crab. But yeah, so I was like, oh my god, that looks like my sort of thing. So it's about this lad who's been in a bunker, and then he decides to go. His girlfriend at the time, when they got separated, he said goodbye to her, and she went off to one bunker and he went off to another. Cut to 7 years later. So he was 16 when the monsters attacked, and then this is 7 years later. He's been in the bunker, and he's like been talking to her over the radio, and he's like, I'm gonna go find her. I'm gonna go and find her. And he's the one that's like, they don't let fight and they don't let attack anything and all that kind of stuff. And so it's about him sort of coming into himself and sort of learning to be a bit braver and all that kind of stuff. And it was really, really good, because it was so much fun. And I cannot stress enough how much I love stuff that's just fun, because
the world needs it, man.
Exactly, the world 1000% needs it. And I remember a while ago waxing lyrical about the fact, like, oh, we don't get anything like the Mummy anymore. We don't get anything like you know, Van Helsing. We don't get anything like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, it's got to have a message to it that's like really overlaid and in your face and all that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of the time writers forget that you can have those messages without those being the focal point of the story.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love, anything like that. And I love fun. I love having fun and being able to have fun and be like, come away from it afterwards and be sat there and be thinking, oh my god, the representation was amazing, the writing was amazing, the like
because it hits harder, mate. It hits harder.
So like nerdy about it and have like a nerdgasm about it, and it's like, so I was just like, it was just so much fun, just like Thunder Force was. And the fact that those two things have come out so close together, I hope we see more things like that. I hope we see more stupid things like Scooby-Doo. Not the new animated one that they did, the old one with Matthew Lillard in it. Freddie Prinze Jr. Because those films were... We need more shit like that.
Yeah.
So, our word of the week this week was fish.
Fish, mate. Yeah, fish. My home turf. As I mentioned last week, I am from the town of Grimsby, named after Grim, who rescued Havelock the Dane from the Great North Sea as a bubby. And it is the largest fishing port in Europe. It used to be like the most, like it had the most industry, but they massively overfished the North Sea, which is why the town is basically dead now. It's kind of, it's gone the same way as like a lot of Sheffield with the steel mills and the coal mines and all that kind of stuff. But it's still a very busy port, and they have a National Fishing Heritage Museum in Grimsby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's all about, well, fishing.
I will not be going to a fish museum anytime soon. Fishing. It's not even a fish museum, it's fishing museum.
Yeah, it's basically one of the most depressing museums because it's just about, like, imagine if there was a museum just dedicated to Infinity War and you never got to Endgame. That's what it feels like, but for trawler fishing.
Okay.
You're like, where's the bit where they make a comeback and everyone's like, oh no. You're like, so Thanos' click stuck. Oh yeah. Oh, can I get my money back? No, we really need it because as I've just explained to you.
Yep. Was that your only fishy fact?
No, that wasn't even my fishy fact. I was just telling you. I have
about it.
Yeah. Right. So here's the thing. I was like, I don't like the sea. I don't like the idea of being in a broth of monsters that I can't see. Okay?
That's the best way I have ever heard the sea described. Like a broth of monsters.
Monster broth. No, thank you. God. Right?
Hey, that's a good name for a band, that, Gary. You should write that down. That would make a bang book title, though. A broth of monsters.
Yeah, it would. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Not everything that lives in the sea freaks me out. There are some pretty fish. Okay? Yeah. There's a few pretty fish that are boring to look at once you've seen them once, right? Aquariums bore me to tears for that section. The rest of it is like a waking nightmare. For me, quite frankly, I remember the first time I went to an aquarium and I was looking at a tank and I was like, what's supposed to be in this tank? It's empty. And they were like, no, there's an octopus in there. And I was like, where? And then literally as I said where, this fuck off octopus came out of the smallest fucking hole I've ever seen. And I was like, not for me, mate. No. Absolutely fucking not. That's not natural. That's not right. No. But so what? So I'm not the biggest fan of stuff that, like, even plants. Like, why are you moving? There's no wind. There's a current. I don't fucking care. It's not right. It's creepy as fuck. No, thank you. Isn't coral beautiful? No, it isn't. It's horrifying. What about sea cucumbers? What about seahorses? Yeah, they're all right. But I was like, do you know what? No, I'm a step up. I'm a step up to the plate. And so I typed in like 10 weirdest fish, and I will never sleep again. Why did you find that? No. Before I did the facts, right? I saw pictures. I saw a lot of things. There are some fish with human teeth.
Yep. Yes,
what?
There are.
They're not humans. What do they need human teeth for? No. So I quickly disposed my brain of that fucking idea and I went for facts. So I have got here in front of me, when it wants to fucking come up, 10 facts that I'm going to, they're very short, so I'll rattle them all off, and I may give you some commentary as we go. So, number 1.
I'm so excited.
The amazing, first of all, like, easy with amazing. Like, that doesn't need to be there. Just the spotted climbing perch is fine. Even the name is gross. The amazing spotted climbing perch is able to gulp oxygen from the air and can crawl over land using its strong pectoral fins in search for water. Fuck off! No. All of those need to be quelled immediately. Absolutely fucking not.
All I can think of is a fucking, like, merman trying to, like, crawl along the thing with his pets.
Did you know American lobsters have longer lifespans than both cats and dogs, living for over 20 years? That is 19 and a half years too long, as far as I'm concerned. I'll give them 6 months, as long as I don't have to look at them. Number 3, catfish, which are fucking horrific to look at. I'm looking at one now. What's going on in the inside on the side? No. No.
This is the best word ever.
Horrific. Horrific. Catfish have over 27,000 taste buds, whereas humans have only 9,000. Why do they need that many taste buds? For fucking eating humans. That's what they need them for. They're going to breed with the fucking spotted climbing perch, and they're going to fucking comfort me in my fucking bed with a weird fucking what the fuck is going on in the inside of their mouths. That ain't right. And if that is a tongue, I'm glad global warming's boiling the oceans, quite frankly. Apparently, I don't know whether this is a joke or not. It's not the time for jokes, but number 4, what is the loudest fish? The answer is the croaker. I don't know if that's a joke or if it's named because it's fucking rowdy. I don't know. Number 5, what percentage of a fish's size is made up of brain? Too much. Like, I've seen them films, like Limitless and stuff. What happens if someone accidentally drops one of them pills in the ocean, right? And
There's a film about that.
And then
I mean, not specifically that, but that's what Deep Blue Sea is. Deep Blue Sea is...
I've seen that film and I wish I'd never. Basically, it says typically 1/15, so 0.06% is the brain. Did you know fish can get sunburned? Good. But it's unusual unless there is something about their environment that does not allow them to seek deeper water or some kind of shelter. Get bigger brains, you dickheads, but don't actually just get sunburnt. Which kind of fish can live in the coldest temperatures? The answer is the Antarctic ice fish. That's fine by me. I don't live anywhere near the fucking Antarctic. They can stay there. It's like me and ants have an agreement. If you don't come in my house, you don't die. Same agreement with the Antarctic ice fish, which have antifreeze in their blood. Oh, actually, no, kill them.
Wow.
That's not right. That's not right, mate.
That's cool.
No,
Wait, does that mean if you ate them, you would be poisoned?
Maybe. But they live permanently at -1 degree Celsius. And in Fahrenheit, that's figure it out for yourself, because I've got better things to do. Number 8. Is it true that a fish surrounds itself by its snot to protect itself? Yes. Parrotfish produce a mucus tent that completely covers them. A mucus tent. Do you want to tell me again how amazing the ocean is? You are literally getting into a broth of fish piss, shit, and mucus tents. No. Number 9. Did you know that fish have a specialised sense organ called their lateral line, which works much like radar and helps them navigate in dark or murky waters? And why do they need to do that? To fucking eat the person that's fallen overboard, or to just pull it down and drown it. They're like, oh, you can't see in the dark. We can. We've developed special organs for it. Ugh. Stop growing special organs, fish. You fucking freaks. What is wrong with them? And once again, the Victorians fucked everything up for me, right? If they hadn't been so repressed, I might be able to be a little bit less, like, feeling shameful about the fact that I enjoy sex. But no, because they had to, like, cover up table legs, I'm dealing with all this shit. And also, turns out, these fuckers, in 1853 in London, UK, that's when aeration and filtration of water was understood. And that's when people could keep fish indoor as pets. Fuck off, Victorians. I mean, you have, to be fair, you did fuck off in 1901. But your legacy continues to disappoint and nauseate me. That's what I got for fish.
So you didn't find the penis fish. You also didn't find the story about the man living with a dolphin and trying to make dolphin in humans, which is the thing that happened.
What?
They set up a house, and there's just enough water for the dolphin to be covered up in it, and then they wanted a woman to live in the house with the dolphin, and they wanted to see if they could cohabit and see if the dolphin would learn.
Yeah, ugh, no. I mean, like, dolphins are cute when you don't take into account the fact that they ain't the best.
Dolphins are not. Dolphins are massive rapists, like ducks.
I know, but they look cute. That's what I'm saying. Like, to look at them, they don't instantly horrify me as most things in the sea do.
They do me, but I think it's just because I've seen that Simpsons episode where they come on land.
Stop it.
Right. I didn't even, like, I could have drawn on my veritable wealth of knowledge about the ocean for this. And instead, I decided I was going to take it easy on you. And I would talk about fish movies instead.
All right. It were your fish movies.
So I have...
Deep, what is it? Deep Blue Seas.
Deep Blue Sea. Yeah.
That is, those sharks are smart. And ovens are not the place to hide. Also, Samuel L. Jackson, don't stand so close to the water.
Yeah.
That's for right.
So I have a love.
Sorry, go on.
Monster movies. So I really love like a monster movie. I really love like a big monster, and it's just eating people. It's picking people off one by one, and I feel like, especially movies set on the ocean, are so good because they're so isolating and because you can't escape, and that it gives them that little extra sort of bit of fear factor to them.
Oh, sounds fucking wonderful.
And there's like, obviously the big one is Jaws, and Mr. Crinan, whose favourite film is Jaws, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
Jaws.
I just want to very quickly say, we're going to need a bigger boat. How about you have no boat? It's on you, mate. You went on the ocean. That is on you. Why? There were, like, it weren't that long ago. There were planes. There were other occupations. I'm just saying. Please continue.
So, like, Jaws is obviously...
Bridges were a thing. Sorry, go on.
Jaws is the beloved. The first one is the beloved one.
Oh, yes.
But I actually prefer, like, the second one is... I find the second one a bit scarier. But then the third one is my favourite because it's so fucking ridiculous. Like, it is literally... The storyline is literally the descendants of the first Jaws are trying to kill this family. It's like... What? At what point did you go from, we live in a place where sharks exist, so it's kind of, it's understandable that maybe, you know, twice in a lifetime sharks would come around. The third film follows the oldest of the two kids. Is it the oldest or is it the youngest of the two kids? Who has now decided he's going to work at an aquarium after these horrific incidents with sharks. And a shark gets into the aquarium and like...
How does it learn to pick locks?
Like, it gets in through like a filtration system or something. It's
I call
fucking
bullshit.
It's absolute. It's pure cheese, and it's excellent, and I love it. And I just love, really. I kind of like these,
like B-movie creature features.
Yeah, and I like them. I like them a lot more than like anything supernatural or anything like that. And I feel like sometimes because I can get just enough of a scare from these a lot of the time. So like there's one called, I don't know if it's called, I can't remember if it's called Cage Dive. It might be Cage Dive.
No, not interested.
But at the start, they're doing a cage dive and the thing snaps and they get stuck in it.
Of course.
And then there's obviously sharks.
I'm so sorry to keep interrupting you, but again, this entire film, like, I can't root for them to survive because they thought it was a fucking good idea
to go in a cage.
To go in a cage and get in the ocean. Quite frankly, they should be in the sea. That's where they belong. On you if you get eaten by sharks or other fucking, if the coral comes alive and tries to strangle you.
So there's another one as well called The Shallows, and that's quite good as well. That's where she's literally just stuck on a rock because the tide's come in. And there's perhaps my favourite one that I've recently watched is The Meg. I got told The Meg was so bad I wouldn't even be able to get through the first half an hour of it, which is why I didn't watch it, because I was like, I got told it was so bad, like I wouldn't be able to get through the first half hour of it. But it is absolutely not as bad as people made out. And it is absolutely fucking, it's so funny and it's just so ridiculous and so much fun. Again, it's one of them things that's fun. And this is the reason I like these sort of films. Like the stuff that's more on the sort of survivally side, like say The Shallows and Cage Dive. Like I prefer stuff like Deep Blue Sea, The Meg, and Jaws 3 because the humour in them. Because one of the tropes that I really, really love is when you have that moment of horror, and then you have that moment of somebody making a joke.
Yeah.
Or you have the moment of, or it's reversed, so you have somebody making a joke.
Giving the speech and then he just gets eaten by the sharks.
Yeah, and then you just get the shock. Because I feel like, for me, those films sort of ride a fine line where they give me enough of a thrill that I'm not like completely, nails digging into the couch. But then they also give you that relief at the same time, and they give you that release that you need while you watch it, like while you're watching it. And The Meg was just...
watch porn.
The Meg was definitely not as bad as people made out to me. And there were some lines in there that absolutely made me cackle. There was a lot of overacting. There was...
Of course.
It was exactly what I expected. And after watching it, I kind of sat there like, what do people go into these movies expecting? Like
the next great American classic.
Yeah. Like, what are you going into this film, which has already got a ridiculous premise and he's not shy about his ridiculous premise? Yeah. Are you going into this film thinking it's going to be fucking 12 Years a Slave? Because, what are you waiting for?
I thought it was Of Mice and Men. No. It's not.
What are you expecting? It's just, yeah. So it's just, I love stuff like that. So I thought I'd give a shout out to, in particular, shark movies, though I do enjoy other fish movies, like Finding Nemo.
Yeah, I don't mind Finding Nemo. I can deal with Finding Nemo.
Shark Tale.
I like Shark Tale. Will Smith, Christina Aguilera did the soundtrack. Yes, please. Spin the wheel out bad.
Fantastic. That was perfect.
Welcome.
So next week's word is going to be entertainment.
Oh, okay. I got this one. This is my wheelhouse.
This is where you are. Entertainment. Oh, I might go for something historical. I love that shit.
Do it. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oof.
Because I love all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so next week's word is entertainment. So if you've got any funny stories or things you hate about the word, drop a comment on one of the social media channels. We're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram. Comment on Instagram. We
tried other places. We didn't like it. We're on Instagram.
If you hated the podcast, don't at us because we don't care. But if you did enjoy it,
of course you did, because it's entertaining.
Hey, see what you did there.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed it, because I mean, why wouldn't you? Quite frankly. But if you loved it, find us, talk to us, send us your funny stories. We'll read them out. We'll talk about them. We'll discuss them. We'll make them into skits.
Share your deep dark secrets.
Yeah, just tell us everything. And please know, if you do send us any gross pictures, and by that I mean dick pics, we will show them on the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wait, is that going to encourage people or discourage people?
Not after I finished editing them.
You can find us under the Marmite Queens, and you can find Sam
at Mistress of None on Instagram. On the World Wide Web, it is mistressofnone.com, and soon you can find me on YouTube, also at Mistress of None.
And you can find me at Better Late Than Novel on Instagram, and you can find my website, which is just laurakendrick.com, where you can find information about me, and you can also find SILVERDEER on Amazon, any Amazon, doesn't have to be .com, .co.uk, Canada, France, I don't know, anywhere.
If you have a Kindle subscription, you can read SILVERDEER for free.
Yes, you can read it on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, mate, do it. It's fucking well worth a read. It's a rollicking, yeah, that is right. It's rollicking. A raucous, rollicking, good fucking time. That's what it is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, mate.
So with that, we will bid you adieu.
Yeah, let's boo-boo.
Adieu. Let's boo-boo.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of The Marmite Queens, you dumpster fire garbage people. And now for the outro. Still can't afford a theme tune! Definitely can't afford an outro!